Brutal. Brutal is a villain from the Earth 2 universe, a dark version of Superman. Created by Darkseid after the original Superman's death, Brutal is a powerful clone. But instead of being a hero like Superman, Brutal is filled with darkness and has no sense of mercy or compassion. His goal is to destroy anyone in his way, and he's pretty good at it. With the powers of Superman and the Omega Force, Brutal is a force to be reckoned with. He has super strength, speed, and agility. He's so fast that he can blur when he moves quickly. He can easily defeat strong heroes like Green Lantern and Atom without sweat. Brutal can even crush enemies with his heat vision, which is powerful enough to disintegrate them instantly. He's also tough, with an almost impossible body to harm, and he can fly as fast as a blur through the sky. But it's not just his physical powers that make him dangerous. He also has heightened senses. He can hear conversations from far away, see through walls with X-ray vision, and even use microscopic and telescopic vision to spot things at any size or distance. Plus, he has the Omega Sanction, which makes his optic beams even deadlier. Even though he's nearly invincible, Brutal does have a few weaknesses. Magic can hurt him, and pushing his powers too far can cause his body to break down because he's not a perfect clone. Brutal is a terrifying force of destruction, leaving chaos in his wake. This dark path brings us to another tragic hero. Superman loses hope and justice in the Injustice storyline, revealing the dangerous consequences when a hero turns dark. Wait just for a while, as we'll discuss this shortly. Calvin Ellis. Calvin Ellis is a unique version of Superman from Earth 23. Not only does he have all the classic powers of Superman, but he also holds a pretty special role. He's the President of the United States. Imagine being the leader of the free world and the most powerful hero in the universe. That's Calvin's life. He's from Krypton, born on Vathlo Island, and known as Superman on his Earth. His leadership skills helped him become a hero, even defeating the powerful Super Doomsday. Speaking of powers, Calvin Ellis has all the usual Kryptonian abilities: super strength, speed, and the ability to fly. He can shoot heat vision from his eyes and has super hearing, meaning he can hear anything, anywhere. His vision is just as impressive, allowing him to see through walls, zoom in on distant objects, or even see tiny things at the atomic level. He can also use X-ray vision and infrared vision. But Calvin isn't just about powers. He's an amazing leader known for his wisdom in running the country and forming alliances worldwide. He's also a skilled boxer and can even play the guitar. However, like all heroes, Calvin has his weaknesses. He's vulnerable to Meta Knight, a special version of kryptonite from his Earth that can harm him just like regular kryptonite. Calvin Ellis proves that Superman can be more than just a hero. He can also be a strong, wise leader. Red Sun Superman. Red Sun Superman is a unique version of Superman with a big twist. Instead of landing in the United States, his spaceship crashed in the Soviet Union. Growing up in a strict communist regime, he's raised to believe in loyalty and duty to the Soviet Party. This version of Superman becomes a powerful symbol for the Soviet Union, using his abilities to serve his country. On top of that, he's incredibly strong and capable of taking on entire armies, even defeating a group of Green Lanterns and Wonder Woman herself. His powers are similar to those of the original Superman: super strength, flight, heat vision, and superhuman senses. However, his upbringing makes him a more disciplined and loyal figure, focused on the ideals of communism rather than freedom and individualism. Red Sun Superman's story is told in the Superman Red Sun miniseries, which imagines what might happen if Superman had landed in a different place with different values. The comic was a hit, earning an Eisner Award nomination. It was later adapted into a motion comic and inspired elements in the Injustice video game. Although Red Sun Superman doesn't have many traditional weaknesses like kryptonite, his rigid sense of duty and the strict rules of the regime he serves could be seen as limitations in his mindset. This version of Superman offers a fascinating what-if scenario, showing how different the hero could be if raised in a completely different world. Injustice Superman. In the Injustice storyline, Superman takes a dark turn. On Earth 22, Kal-El is tricked by the Joker into killing his wife, Lois Lane, and their unborn child, which leads him to lose his sense of morality. Overcome with grief and anger, he kills the Joker and begins to rule Earth as a ruthless dictator. This version of Superman is no longer the heroic symbol of hope we know. Instead, he's a dangerous and power-hungry tyrant, battling even his former allies in the Justice League to maintain control. Moreover, Superman in Injustice has all the incredible powers we associate with the Man of Steel. He has super strength, speed, flight, and invulnerability. He can also shoot heat vision, has superhuman hearing, and can see through walls with X-ray vision. His powers make him nearly unstoppable, able to take on gods like Darkseid and armies of Green Lanterns. However, his powers aren't without limits. He's vulnerable to magic and kryptonite, weakening or killing him. His biggest weakness, though, is his emotional breakdown after Lois's death. His grief turns him into a man driven by anger and vengeance, willing to kill anyone who stands in his way. This dark version of Superman is a tragic figure, showing what can happen when the hero loses his sense of hope and justice. Kingdom Come Superman. In Kingdom Come, we see an older version of Superman who has retired after the death of Lois Lane. However, when chaos breaks out on Earth, he decides to return and is stronger than ever. Over the years, he's absorbed so much solar energy that it's made him nearly invincible. Not only is he more powerful, but he's also no longer vulnerable to kryptonite. He faces off against a mind-controlled Shazam in one of his biggest battles and easily wins. He also survives a nuclear warhead that wipes out other heroes, proving he's the most powerful hero in this universe. Beyond this, that version of Superman still has all the classic abilities we know and love, like super strength, speed, and the ability to fly. His senses are incredibly sharp, and he can shoot heat vision from his eyes or use his super breath. However, what sets Kingdom Come to Superman apart is his enhanced powers, which make him even stronger than the Superman we usually see. He can withstand much more damage, and his regeneration abilities help him recover quickly from injuries. With all his years of experience and power, Kingdom Come Superman symbolizes hope and strength. He's a true hero who proves that no matter how much time passes, he'll always be ready to fight for what's right. His return shows he's still the most powerful hero, even in his old age. But when you think no one could surpass him, we encounter a version of Superman that's beyond limits. Cosmic Armor Superman, the Thought Robot, an unimaginable force that exists beyond the universe's boundaries, ensuring that evil can never prevail. Stay with us. We'll cover this in just a few minutes. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Superboy Prime. Superboy, despite his name, is one of the most dangerous versions of Superman. He starts on Earth Prime, a world where Superman is just a comic book character, and Clark Kent is the only one with real superpowers. Growing up, Clark idolizes Superman, but is often mocked for sharing his name with the fictional hero. He has a crush on his friend, Lori, but their friendship falls apart when she gets a boyfriend. Eventually, Clark discovers he has powers similar to Superman, but his world doesn't have any of the heroes or villains he loves in the comics. Not only this, things turn dark when Clark becomes consumed by his sense of superiority and believes he is the only true Superman. After losing control, he becomes Superboy Prime, a super-powered villain with reality-warping abilities. This version of Superman is incredibly powerful, far stronger than the original, and can even manipulate reality itself. During the Infinite Crisis storyline, Superboy Prime defeats several versions of Superman and kills major heroes like the Flash and Green Lantern. Although Superboy Prime is nearly invincible with his godlike powers, he has a twisted moral compass, making him a terrifying enemy. His powers include enhanced strength, flight, and the ability to reshape reality. However, he is vulnerable to the red sun, which weakens him, and his rage often closes his eyes to strategic thinking. His journey is heartbreak, betrayal, and destructive revenge, making him one of the most feared villains in the DC universe. All-Star Superman. All-Star Superman is an unforgettable version of Superman, who, after being exposed to a massive overdose of solar radiation, becomes stronger than ever. But there's a twist. This powerful boost comes at a cost. The radiation is slowly killing him, so his time is limited. Despite this, he's one of the strongest characters in the DC universe. Now let's talk power. Superman's already incredible powers are supercharged here. His strength is off the charts, and he can lift millions of tons effortlessly. He's so fast that he can travel faster than light. In fact, he even has a legendary arm wrestling match with Hercules and Atlas, defeating them both. His abilities go beyond strength. He has heat vision, super hearing, X-ray vision, and the ability to fly. Along with these powers, All-Star Superman's mind becomes sharper. His intelligence and creativity skyrocketed, allowing him to develop innovative solutions to problems. His body absorbs solar energy, which powers all his abilities and makes him nearly invincible, except for a few weaknesses. He's still vulnerable to kryptonite, though he becomes less affected by it after the solar overdose. Magic remains a weakness, and red solar radiation can drain his powers, making him human again. Even with the looming threat of death, All-Star Superman uses his final days to accomplish impossible feats and inspire others, leaving behind a legacy that proves how much one hero can do in such a short time. Superman Prime. Superman Prime is one of the most powerful versions of Superman in the DC universe. After spending an incredible 15,000 years living in the sun, he gains godlike abilities that make him nearly unstoppable. His time in the sun supercharges his powers, taking them to a whole new level and turning him into a being of unimaginable strength and cosmic power. Speaking of its abilities, this version of Superman has all the usual powers, like super strength, speed, flight, heat vision, and invulnerability. But thanks to the solar boost, he can warp reality, bending space and time to his will. He even creates a new Krypton using his newfound power. His senses are enhanced beyond belief. He can see across the entire electromagnetic spectrum, hear anything, and even see down to the atomic level. Superman Prime is nearly immortal and lives for centuries, never aging or losing his strength. His abilities make him a true cosmic entity with the power to manipulate energy, gravity, and more. However, he does have a few weaknesses. His super hearing is vulnerable to extreme sound, and his mind isn't fully evolved, so he can't connect to a futuristic information network. Despite his immense power, Superman Prime remains driven by an unbreakable will. He is a being beyond time, space, and even the limits of the universe, standing as one of the ultimate versions of Superman, Cosmic Armor Superman. Cosmic Armor Superman, also known as the Thought Robot, is the most powerful version of Superman ever created. He was designed by the Monitors, cosmic beings responsible for maintaining the multiverse, to protect all of existence from the ultimate evil. Unlike traditional Superman, this version is not human, but a cosmic entity in the highest level of reality, the Monitor Sphere. His purpose is to adapt and respond to any threat, no matter how great. Remarkably, this Superman is nearly unbeatable, with infinite stamina and the ability to survive attacks that could destroy entire universes. He can manipulate space, time, reality, and even the concepts of good and evil. His abilities include energy manipulation, matter manipulation, and even the power to erase existence. He can also regenerate almost instantly and is immune to many attacks. including those that mess with the story of reality itself. The Thought Robot is so powerful that he can hold the entire DC multiverse in his palm and even face beings like Mandrake, who can unmake all of existence. His power goes beyond speed or strength. He can transcend time and space with the ability to act on a level that far exceeds normal understanding. While he's nearly invincible, his biggest strength is his awareness of all realities and ability to adapt to any threat. Cosmic Armor Superman is the ultimate defender, a being that exists beyond the usual limits of the universe, ensuring that evil cannot destroy everything. New 52, Superman. In the New 52, Superman, also known as Clark Kent, starts as a blogger with a big secret he doesn't even know about yet. Clark grows up in Smallville, Kansas, raised by the kind Kent family after being sent to Earth from the dying planet Krypton. He gains incredible powers under Earth's yellow sun, like super strength, speed, flight, and more. As he ages, he becomes Superman, a hero who fights for truth, justice, and the American way. At first, Clark keeps his powers hidden, but as his abilities grow, he's forced into the spotlight. He takes on dangerous threats, like the alien villain Brainiac, and helps inspire others to become heroes. However, his rise to fame brings trouble too, especially with the genius Lex Luthor, who sees Superman as a major threat. Well, as Clark learns more about his Kryptonian roots, he discovers a special armor from his home planet. This armor changes depending on who wears it, adding even more power to Superman's impressive abilities. He eventually becomes a founding member of the Justice League, working alongside other heroes to protect Earth. Additionally, Superman's powers make him the most powerful being on Earth. His struggles, victories, and constant fight for what's right put him in the spotlight. Despite the challenges, he remains committed to his mission to keep the world safe from evil, proving that with great power comes great responsibility. But what happens when that commitment is twisted? In Superman, the Dark Side, an alternate armored Superman from Earth 1198, is captured by Darkseid and turned into a brutal warrior. Equipped with an armored superblock, he's a formidable force, but his AI sometimes overestimates the danger working against him. Stay tuned with us until the video ends. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing DC comics. Golden Age Superman. The Golden Age of comics started in 1938 when Superman debuted in Action Comics #1. This era lasted until the mid-1950s, marking a time when superhero stories were simpler and focused more on everyday issues like gangsters, criminals, and corrupt politicians, rather than the supervillains and aliens seen later. During this time, Superman's creators, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, were still closely involved, but other writers and artists also contributed to the comics. Furthermore, the version of Superman from this era is known as the Earth 2 Superman. This is the first Superman created, staying true to Siegel and Shuster's original vision. He was incredibly powerful, even by today's standards. For example, he accidentally destroyed an entire solar system with a super sneeze. He had some wild and crazy powers, including shapeshifting, telepathy, and time travel. Superman could also move so fast that he could travel billions of miles in just 1 second. While Superman started with super strength and speed, his powers grew quickly. At one point, he even towed planets across the galaxy to save them. His extraordinary abilities were so over the top that when the character was rebooted in 1986, they had to tone him down to make him more relatable and interesting for readers. Summing up, this Golden Age version of Superman influenced many later adaptations, like the famous 1940s Fleischer cartoons and the 1950s Adventures of Superman TV series starring George Reeves. John Kent, the son of Superman and Lois Lane, quickly becomes a hero in his own right. He started fighting crime as Superboy at age 10, and by age 11, he experienced time differently and returned as a 17-year-old. John soon stepped into his father's shoes, becoming the new Superman when his dad was away on a mission. As a Kryptonian-human hybrid, John has incredible powers, some even stronger than his father's. Above all, John's abilities are similar to Superman's, such as super strength, invulnerability, and flying. But he also has some unique skills, like heat vision with better control, which allows him to create powerful bursts of energy. He can also tap into his solar energy reserves, boosting his strength and speed beyond normal Kryptonian limits. His electroblast and ability to manipulate electricity make him even more dangerous. John's super senses, including X-ray vision and hearing, allow him to detect things far beyond human capabilities. Despite his impressive powers, John isn't invincible. He's vulnerable to kryptonite and magic, just like his father. His powers can also fluctuate, especially when he's emotionally charged or doesn't have enough sunlight. His lack of experience with psychic attacks can leave him exposed. Even though he's learning to control his powers, sometimes he can use up his energy too quickly, leaving him drained until he recharges. John Kent is proving that, with time, he might surpass his father in strength and heart. Armored Superman. In Superman: The Dark Side, we meet an alternate version of Superman from Earth 1198. In this reality, Superman is captured by Darkseid and trained in the brutal ways of Apocalypse. Under Darkseid's influence, he becomes one of the darkest and most dangerous versions of Superman ever. Superman is almost invincible with his Kryptonian battlesuit, and his powers are more focused on destruction than saving the day. He becomes a warrior, leading Darkseid's armies in their war against Earth and its heroes. Further, in the Injustice 2 mobile game, this armored version of Superman is a 4-star hero known for his strong defense. His special ability allows him to reflect damage to attackers, making him tough to beat. He can also improve the defense of his entire team, making him a great asset in battle. However, while he's excellent defensively, his offense isn't as strong. His basic attacks are short range, and his dash attack can be tricky to land. Beyond this, Armored Superman's Superblock is particularly useful. It can negate and reflect a lot of damage, but sometimes the AI will use it even when it's unnecessary, especially when his passive ability already protects him. His heat vision is easy to dodge, and his KO attacks can take time to land, making him less effective offensively. While he's a defensive powerhouse, his offensive abilities can be awkward, and his damage output is on the lower side. Still, his armor makes him tough to take down. Electric Superman. In the 90s, Superman underwent a massive transformation into a completely new version known as Electric Superman. This transformation made him an energy-based being, with his body disintegrating into electromagnetic energy. He wore a special suit to help control his powers, though he still sometimes turned into formless electricity, even while keeping his mind intact. One of his most surprising abilities was manipulating energy, which allowed him to do things like phase through walls, change his size, and control his density. He could even become a giant by increasing his size, but doing so made him less solid, so he had to absorb extra energy to keep himself together. Another unique power was his spectral vision, where he could see different energy signatures, follow radiation trails, and even fire electrical bolts from his eyes as a new form of heat vision. On top of that, Electric Superman could also manipulate magnetism to move metals, or even push the moon away from Earth to save it from destruction. He could absorb all kinds of energy, including nuclear power, but doing so was dangerous as it could make his body break apart. Another cool ability was his power to convert energy into different forms, like changing electromagnetic energy into gravitational energy to defeat enemies. While his new powers gave him plenty of advantages, they also came with risks. For example, if he absorbed too much energy, he'd have to release it, or his body could fall apart. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more great content. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next video.